The clock on the wall showed 2:47 in the morning. Tai-ho sat behind the counter of the small convenience store, his eyes heavy with sleep. He had been working the night shift for 3 years now. Most nights were quiet. A few drunk customers, some students buying snacks. Nothing special ever happened. The store was located on a small street in Seoul. It was not a busy area. During the day, office workers walked past. At night, the street became empty and silent. Tai-ho liked the silence. It gave him time to read books and think about his life. He was 26 years old. He had dropped out of university 2 years ago because his family needed money. His father was sick, and his mother worked 2 jobs. Tai-ho never complained. He just did what he had to do. Tonight, he was reading a comic book about space adventures. He liked stories about aliens and distant planets. They made him forget about his small, ordinary life. The automatic door made a soft sound. Someone was entering the store. Tai-ho looked up from his book. He expected to see a tired businessman or a young couple looking for late-night snacks. What he saw made him freeze. A creature stood at the entrance. It was tall, at least 7 feet. Its body was covered in scales that shimmered like precious stones. The scales were dark purple and green, and they seemed to glow under the store's white lights. The creature had a long tail that moved slowly behind it. Its face was like a dragon from old Korean legends. 2 golden eyes stared directly at Tai-ho. The creature wore strange clothing. It looked like armor made from some kind of metal that Tai-ho had never seen before. On its head, there was something that looked like a crown with small crystals. For a moment, Tai-ho's brain stopped working. He just stared at the creature. His heart was beating very fast. Every part of his body told him to run away. This was not normal. This was not possible. Dragons did not exist. Aliens did not walk into convenience stores. But then something strange happened inside Tai-ho's mind. He remembered all the difficult things he had faced in his life. His father's illness, the long nights without sleep, the rude customers who yelled at him. Compared to all that, a dragon walking into his store did not seem so terrible. Also, Tai-ho was very, very tired. He was too tired to be scared. He took a deep breath. He put down his comic book. He stood up from his chair and bowed politely, just like he did for every customer. "Welcome," he said. His voice was calm. "Can I help you find anything?" The creature did not move. Its golden eyes studied Tai-ho carefully. It seemed surprised. Perhaps it expected screaming. Perhaps it expected the human to run away or fall to the ground in fear. But Tai-ho just stood there, waiting patiently. "You are not afraid," the creature said. Its voice was deep and powerful, like thunder rolling across the sky. But there was also something else in that voice. Curiosity, perhaps. Tai-ho thought about the question. Was he afraid? Yes, a little. But fear would not help him. Fear never helped anyone. "I am a little surprised," Tai-ho admitted. "We do not get many customers like you. But the store is open for everyone. Is there something you need?" The creature's eyes narrowed. It took a step forward, and the ground seemed to shake slightly under its weight. Tai-ho noticed that the creature's claws were long and sharp, like knives. "I am Vera," the creature said. "I rule over 17 star systems. I have destroyed civilizations that dared to stand against me. Billions of beings tremble at the sound of my name." Tai-ho nodded slowly. He did not know what star systems were exactly, but it sounded impressive. "That sounds like a very difficult job," he said. "Would you like some tea? You look tired." Vera stared at him. For a long moment, there was complete silence in the store. Then something changed in the creature's expression. Its mouth opened slightly, showing rows of sharp teeth. But it was not a threatening gesture. It looked almost like confusion. "Tea?" Vera repeated. "Yes, tea. We have green tea, barley tea, and honey ginger tea." The honey ginger is very good. It helps with stress. Taeho walked toward the drink section. He moved calmly, as if having a conversation with an alien dragon was the most normal thing in the world. His hands were shaking a little, but he hid it well. Vera watched him. In her long life, she had visited hundreds of planets. She had seen species beg for mercy. She had watched armies fall before her fleet. She had received tribute from kings and emperors. But no one, in all her centuries of existence, had ever offered her tea. "You truly do not fear me," Vera said. It was not a question this time. It was a statement of amazement. Taeho picked up a bottle of honey ginger tea. He brought it to the counter and placed it there. "I work here every night," he said. "Last week, a drunk man threw a bottle at my head because we did not have his favorite brand of beer. The week before that, 3 teenagers tried to steal snacks and then threatened to hurt me when I caught them." He paused and looked at Vera. "You have not thrown anything at me. You have not threatened me. So far, you are one of the better customers I have had this month." Vera made a sound. It took Taeho a moment to realize it was laughter. The Dragon Empress was laughing. "You are strange, human," Vera said. "Very strange." "My name is Taeho," he replied, "and I have been called strange before. My mother says it is because I read too many books." Vera approached the counter. Up close, Taeho could see more details of her appearance. Her scales were beautiful, like art made by nature. Her eyes held ancient wisdom and great sadness. Taeho wondered how old she was. Thousands of years, perhaps, maybe more. "Why do you work in this small place?" Vera asked. "Do humans not have greater ambitions?" Taeho shrugged. "My father is sick. My family needs money. This job does not pay much, but it is enough. Ambition is nice, but taking care of family is more important." Vera was silent. She seemed to be thinking deeply about his words. "On my world," she said slowly, "family is everything. We protect our blood with our lives. I did not expect to find the same value here, on this primitive planet." "Primitive?" Taeho raised an eyebrow. "We have good tea and warm food. That does not seem primitive to me." Again, Vera laughed. This time it was softer, almost gentle. "Perhaps I judged too quickly," she admitted. Taeho opened the bottle of tea and handed it to her. Vera's clawed hand wrapped around the small bottle. It looked tiny in her grip, like a toy. She drank the tea in one long sip. Then she stood there, processing the taste. "This is acceptable," she said. Taeho smiled. From a dragon empress who ruled 17 star systems, acceptable was probably high praise. "It is free," he said, "a welcome gift for a first-time customer." Vera looked at him for a long time. Her golden eyes seemed to be searching for something. Deception, perhaps, or hidden fear. But she found neither. "I will return," she said finally. "You interest me, Taeho." "The store is open every night," he replied. "I am always here." Vera turned and walked toward the door. Her tail swept across the floor behind her. Just before she left, she looked back. "You should know," she said. "My fleet is in orbit above your planet. I came here to decide if your species should be destroyed or conquered." Taeho felt his heart skip a beat, but he kept his face calm. "And what have you decided?" he asked. Vera smiled. It was a terrifying sight with all those sharp teeth, but somehow Taeho was not afraid. "I have decided," she said, "to drink more tea first." Then she was gone, disappearing into the dark night. Taeho stood alone in the empty store. He looked at the clock. It was 3:15 in the morning. He had just had a conversation with an alien ruler who was thinking about destroying Earth. He should probably panic. He should call someone. The police. The government. Someone important. Instead, Taiho sat back down behind the counter. He picked up his comic book. He thought about Vera's golden eyes and her strange, sad wisdom. "I should order more honey ginger tea," he said to himself. Then he continued reading his book, waiting for the next customer to arrive. 3 nights passed after Vera's first visit. Taiho went to work as usual. He served customers, cleaned the store, and restocked the shelves. He did not tell anyone about the dragon. Who would believe him? They would think he was crazy or making up stories. Sometimes, late at night, Taiho looked up at the sky. He wondered if the alien fleet was really up there, hidden among the stars. He wondered if the world would end soon. But then a customer would come in, and he would forget about it. Life continued, even when the end might be near. On the 4th night, Vera returned. It was past midnight when the door opened. Taiho looked up and saw her standing there. Tonight, she was not wearing her armor. Instead, she wore a long, dark coat that covered most of her body. It did not hide her face, though. Her dragon features were still visible. Anyone who looked at her would know she was not human. But the streets were empty. No one was around to see. "Welcome back," Taiho said. "The honey ginger tea is on the 3rd shelf." Vera walked into the store. Her movements were graceful, like a dancer, or like a predator. Taiho was not sure which. "I have been watching your planet," Vera said. "From above. Your species is interesting." "Good interesting or bad interesting?" Taiho asked. "I am not sure yet." Vera moved through the store slowly. She looked at the products on the shelves with great curiosity. She picked up a bag of chips and studied it like it was a rare artifact. "What is this?" she asked. "Chips, fried potato slices with flavoring. That one is spicy." Vera opened the bag. She put one chip in her mouth. Her face showed surprise. "It burns," she said. "That is the spicy part. Some people like it." Vera ate another chip, then another. Soon the bag was empty. "I like it," she announced. Taiho smiled. "I will add it to your order." For the next hour, Vera explored the store. She tried different snacks and drinks. She asked questions about everything. What is chocolate? Why do humans eat so much sugar? What is the purpose of instant noodles? Taiho answered all her questions patiently. He showed her how to use chopsticks when she struggled with a cup of instant ramyun. He explained the difference between soda and juice. He even taught her how to use the microwave to heat up a meat bun. Vera learned quickly. She was intelligent. Taiho could see that, but she was also curious like a child discovering a new world. "On my planet," Vera said while eating the meat bun, "food is only for survival. We do not eat for pleasure. We do not have flavors like this." "That sounds sad," Taiho said. "Food is one of the best things about being alive." Vera looked at him. Her golden eyes were thoughtful. "You speak as if living is a gift." "Is it not?" Vera did not answer. She finished her meat bun in silence. Later, she sat on a small plastic chair near the window. Taiho gave her another bottle of tea. This time, she held it carefully, like something precious. "I have conquered many worlds," Vera said. Her voice was quiet now. "I have brought species to their knees. I have been called the Dragon Queen, the Destroyer, the End of Worlds. My name makes children cry on 100 planets." Taiho listened without saying anything. "But no one," Vera continued, "has ever treated me like this, like I am just a person, a customer in a store." "You are a customer in a store," Taiho said simply. Vera laughed, but there was sadness in her laughter. "Do you know what I expected when I came to this planet? I expected fear. I expected your leaders to beg for mercy. I expected your armies to fight and fail. That is what always happens. Every species is the same. They fear what is stronger than them." "Fear is natural," Taiho said, "but fear is not everything." "What else is there?" Taiho thought for a moment. Then he walked to the back of the store. He returned with a small blanket that he kept for cold nights. "Here," he said, offering it to Vera. "The nights are getting cold. You should stay warm." Vera stared at the blanket. She did not take it immediately. "Why?" she asked. "Why are you kind to me? You know what I am. You know what I have done." "I do not know what you have done," Taeho said. "I only know what you are doing now. And right now you are a tired traveler who is far from home. Everyone deserves a little kindness, even dragon queens." Slowly, Vera took the blanket. She wrapped it around her shoulders. For a moment, she looked small, not like a conqueror, just like someone who was lonely. "My mother was killed when I was young," Vera said suddenly. "My father died in battle soon after. I had to become strong to survive. I had to become cruel. In my world, kindness is weakness. The kind ones die first." Taeho sat down across from her. The store was quiet. Outside, the city slept. "I am sorry about your parents," he said. "Losing family is the hardest thing." "How do you know?" "My grandmother raised me. She died 2 years ago. Some nights I still talk to her. I tell her about my day. I tell her about strange customers." He smiled a little. "I think she would like you." "Why would she like me?" "I am a monster." "You are not a monster. Monsters do not eat spicy chips and ask about chocolate. Monsters do not sit quietly and talk about their mothers." Vera was silent for a long time. When she spoke again, her voice was barely above a whisper. "I do not understand you, Taeho. I have studied your species. You are weak. Your technology is basic. Your lifespans are short. By every measure, you should be nothing. But I what? You confuse me. You should hate me. You should fear me, but instead, you give me blankets and tea." Taeho shrugged. "Hate takes too much energy. Fear is exhausting. I prefer to be kind. It is easier." "Easier?" Vera shook her head. "Kindness is not easy. It is the hardest thing in the universe, I know. I tried once, long ago. It did not end well." "What happened?" Vera looked away. "There was someone, another ruler. We were supposed to unite our empires through marriage. I thought I could be kind. I thought I could trust. But he betrayed me. He tried to kill me and take my throne. And then I destroyed him. I destroyed his entire empire. Every planet, every moon. Nothing remains." Taeho felt a chill run down his spine. He understood now. Vera was not naturally cruel. She had become cruel because the universe had taught her that kindness was dangerous. "I am sorry," he said. "That must have been painful. Pain makes you stronger, or it makes you hard like stone. But stones cannot feel warmth. They cannot enjoy spicy chips or honey tea." Vera turned to look at him. Her golden eyes were wet. Taeho realized with shock that she was crying. Dragons could cry. "You are very wise for someone so young," Vera said. "I am not wise. I just read too many books." Vera laughed. A real laugh this time, without sadness. "You keep saying that. What books?" "All kinds. Stories about heroes and adventures. Some about space and aliens. Though the aliens in my books are not as interesting as you." "Will you show me?" Taeho blinked. "Show you? My books?" "Yes. I want to understand. I want to know what makes humans like you." Taeho hesitated. Then he reached under the counter and pulled out the comic book he had been reading. "This is about a human who travels to different planets and makes friends with aliens," he explained. "It is not very realistic, but it is fun." Vera took the book carefully. She opened it and looked at the pictures. Her clawed fingers turned the pages gently. "The art is beautiful," she said. "You can borrow it. Return it whenever you want." Vera held the book close to her chest, like a treasure. "Thank you, Taeho." For the tea. For the blanket. For this book. For treating me like... Like what? Like I am worth something beyond my power. Tejo smiled. Everyone is worth something. Power is just one small part of who we are. Vera stood up. She folded the blanket neatly and placed it on the counter. I must go. My generals are waiting for my orders. They want to know when the invasion will begin. Tejo's heart grew heavy. He had almost forgotten about the invasion. And what will you tell them? He asked. Vera walked toward the door. She stopped and looked back at him. I will tell them to wait. I am not done studying this planet. How long will you study? Vera smiled. It was the first genuine smile Tejo had seen from her. As long as the tea lasts, she said. Then she walked out into the night, carrying the comic book under her arm. Tejo watched her go. He thought about what she had said, about pain and kindness, about power and worth. He thought about a lonely dragon queen who had forgotten what it meant to be treated with care. He picked up the blanket she had left behind. It still held a little warmth from her body. Tomorrow, he would order more tea, more chips, more comic books. If kindness was the only weapon he had against an alien invasion, then he would use it as much as he could. It was a small thing, but sometimes small things changed the universe. High above Earth, in the darkness of space, a massive ship floated silently. It was larger than any structure humans had ever built. Inside, thousands of soldiers waited for orders. They were ready for war. They had conquered planets before. Earth would be easy. In the command room, 3 generals stood around a holographic map of Earth. Their scales were dark red, the color of warriors. Their eyes were sharp and cold. The Empress has been gone for many cycles, said General Dorvan, the oldest of the 3. She goes to the planet's surface every night and returns before dawn. She tells us nothing. Perhaps she is scouting for weaknesses, said General Kira. She was younger, with scars across her face from many battles. The Empress is thorough. Too thorough, said the 3rd General Borak. He was large and impatient. We have scanned this planet. Their weapons cannot hurt us. Their defenses are nothing. We should attack now and be done with it. We cannot act without the Empress's command, Dorvan reminded him. You know the law. The law also says we should not waste time on primitive species. Borak slammed his fist on the table. Something is wrong. The Empress is not acting like herself. The doors to the command room opened. Empress Vera entered. The 3 generals immediately stood straight and bowed their heads. My Empress, Dorvan said. We were discussing the invasion timeline. The troops are eager. Vera walked past them to the window. She looked down at Earth. The blue planet glowed softly in the light of its sun. Cancel the invasion, she said. Silence filled the room. The generals looked at each other in shock. My Empress? Kira stepped forward. Did you say, cancel? I am still deciding. For now, all attack plans are on hold. Borak could not contain himself. Forgive me, Empress, but why? We have traveled far. Our soldiers are ready. This planet is weak. It would fall in a single day. Vera turned to face him. Her golden eyes burned with authority. Are you questioning me, Borak? Borak lowered his head quickly. No, my Empress, never. I simply do not understand. You do not need to understand. You need to obey. Yes, my Empress. Vera looked at all 3 of them. They were loyal soldiers. They had served her for centuries. But they would never understand what she was feeling. They had never sat in a small convenience store. They had never tasted honey ginger tea. They had never been treated with kindness by a stranger. I have discovered something on this planet, Vera said slowly. Something worth studying. Until I understand it fully, we will wait. Dorvan nodded respectfully. As you command. May I ask what you have discovered? Vera thought about Tai-Ho, his calm eyes, his gentle words, the way he offered blankets to conquerors and books to monsters. I have discovered a different kind of strength, she said, one that does not come from weapons or armies. The generals exchanged confused looks, but they said nothing more. That night, Vera returned to Earth. She landed her small shuttle in an empty field outside Seoul and walked to the convenience store. The city was quiet. The streets were empty except for a few cars. Tai-Ho was behind the counter as always. He looked up when she entered and smiled. You finished the book already? He asked. Vera placed the comic book on the counter. I read it 4 times. The story is simple, but I enjoyed it. The human hero reminds me of someone. Who? You. Tai-Ho laughed. I am not a hero. I am just a store clerk. Heroes do not always carry swords. Vera sat down on the plastic chair that had become her regular spot. Sometimes they carry tea and blankets. Tai-Ho prepared 2 cups of tea. He brought them over and sat across from her. This had become their routine. They would sit and talk while the world slept. My generals are confused, Vera said. They want to know why I have delayed the invasion. I told them I am studying humanity, but that is not the whole truth. What is the whole truth? Vera held her teacup between her claws. The warmth spread through her hands. I do not want to destroy this planet, she admitted. For the first time in centuries, I do not want to conquer, and it scares me. Tai-Ho sipped his tea quietly. He waited for her to continue. My whole life has been about power, Vera said. Taking it, keeping it, using it. I built my empire on fear. I taught myself that compassion was dangerous, that trust was foolish, that the only way to survive was to be stronger than everyone else. That sounds lonely. It is. Very lonely. Vera looked at him. But then I met you. A human who works in a small store on a small planet. You have no power. You have no army. You could not fight me even if you tried. But you treated me with more respect than any king or emperor ever has. Respect does not cost anything, Tai-Ho said. It is free, like the tea I gave you on your first night. Nothing is free in my world. Everything has a price. Then your world is very sad. Vera nodded slowly. Yes, it is. They sat in silence for a while. Outside, a dog barked somewhere in the distance. A car passed by, its headlights cutting through the darkness. Tell me about your family, Vera said. You mentioned your father is sick. Tai-Ho's expression became softer. He has a problem with his heart. The doctors say he needs surgery, but it is expensive. We are saving money, slowly. It will take time. How much money? A lot. More than I can earn in many years. Vera frowned. On my ship, we have medical technology that can cure any disease. Your father's heart problem would be nothing to us. Tai-Ho looked at her in surprise. You would help him? If you asked me to. Tai-Ho set down his tea. His hands were trembling slightly. Why would you do that? You barely know me. You barely know us. Because you gave me tea when I was thirsty. You gave me a blanket when I was cold. You gave me a book when I was bored. These are small things, Tai-Ho, but they mean more to me than any treasure in my empire. Tears formed in Tai-Ho's eyes. He quickly wiped them away. I do not know what to say. Say yes. Let me help your father. But what do you want in return? Vera smiled. I want you to keep teaching me. About humans, about kindness, about this strange planet where store clerks treat dragon queens like normal customers. Tai-Ho laughed through his tears. That is not a fair trade. My father's life for some conversations? It is fair to me. Tai-Ho took a deep breath. He had never expected this. He had never imagined that being kind to a stranger would lead to something so incredible. Okay, he said finally. I accept. But you have to promise me something too. What? Promise me you will not destroy Earth. Not because I asked, but because you chose not to. Vera was quiet. The weight of his words hung in the air between them. You ask for much, she said. I know. You ask me to change everything I am. No. I ask you to be who you could be, the person who likes spicy chips and comic books. The person who laughs at bad jokes and wraps herself in old blankets. That person is also you, Vera. Maybe the real you. Vera closed her eyes. Inside her mind, two voices were fighting. One was the voice of the Empress, the conqueror, the destroyer. The other was something quieter, something that had been sleeping for a very long time. When she opened her eyes again, they were filled with determination. I cannot promise to save your planet, she said, but I can promise to try. I can promise to listen to this new voice inside me. I can promise to give humanity a chance. Taiho smiled. That is all I ask. Vera stood up. She placed her clawed hand on Taiho's shoulder. It was the first time she had touched him. You are remarkable, she said. Your species is remarkable. I have conquered 12 civilizations, and none of them ever made me question myself. But you, a tired man in a small store, have made me doubt everything I believed. Is that good or bad? I do not know yet, but I think it might be good. She walked toward the door. Then she stopped and looked back. Tomorrow night bring me to meet your father. I will heal him myself. Taiho nodded. His heart was full of emotions he could not name. Thank you, Vera. Do not thank me yet. I still have generals who want war. I still have an empire that expects conquest. Changing their minds will not be easy. But you will try? Vera smiled. That gentle smile that looked so strange on a dragon's face. Yes, I will try. Because a kind human taught me that trying is sometimes enough. Then she disappeared into the night, leaving Taiho alone with his thoughts and a hope he had never dared to feel before. Taiho's mother, Yunji, screamed when she first saw Vera. It was a natural reaction. A 7-foot dragon was standing in her living room. But Taiho quickly calmed her down. Mother, please, this is my friend. She is here to help father. Friend? Yunji looked at Vera with wide eyes. Taiho, what is happening? Is this real? Am I dreaming? Vera bowed politely. It was a human gesture she had learned from Taiho. I am Vera, she said. I apologize for frightening you. Your son has told me about your husband's illness. I have medical technology that can help. Yunji could not speak. She just stared. Taiho's father, Dongsu, was lying in bed in the next room. He was weak but awake. When Taiho brought Vera in, Dongsu's eyes grew wide. My son, he said slowly, there is a dragon in our house. Yes, father. She is a friend. She wants to help you. Dongsu looked at Vera. Unlike his wife, he did not scream. He studied her carefully, with the calm eyes of a man who had seen many things in life. A dragon friend? He said. You always did have strange hobbies, Taiho. Vera laughed. Now I see where Taiho gets his calm nature. She took out a small device from her coat. It looked like a silver pen with lights on the end. She pressed it against Dongsu's chest. There was a soft humming sound. Blue light covered his body. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Dongsu took a deep breath. His color improved. The tired look in his eyes began to fade. What is this feeling? He asked. I feel strong. Stronger than I have felt in years. The device repaired your heart, Vera explained. The damage is gone. You will live many more years if you take care of yourself. Yunji fell to her knees. Tears ran down her face. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Vera looked uncomfortable with the gratitude. She was not used to being thanked. Please stand, she said gently. I did not do this for thanks. I did it because your son showed me kindness. This is my way of returning it. Dongsu sat up in bed. He moved easily now, without pain. You saved my life, he said to Vera. I do not understand what you are or where you come from, but you have my family's eternal gratitude. Then show it by loving your son, Vera said. He works hard for you. He gave up his dreams so you could have medicine. He deserves happiness. Dongsu looked at Taiho with new eyes. Taiho had never told his parents about the sacrifices he made. He did not want them to feel guilty. I know, Dongsu said. I have always known. And I have never been more proud of him. Taiho wiped tears from his eyes. He had not cried this much in years. After healing Dongsu, Vera became a regular visitor to the house. She came every few days, always at night, always wearing her long coat to hide her appearance. She learned to eat Korean food. She helped Yoonji in the kitchen, though her claws made chopping vegetables difficult. She listened to Dongsu's stories about the old days. The family accepted her slowly. At first they were nervous, but Vera was patient and kind. She asked questions about human life. She laughed at their jokes. She treated them with respect. You are not what I expected, Yoonji said one night while they were preparing dinner. When I first saw you, I thought you were a monster from old legends. I have been called a monster many times, Vera admitted. But you are not one. Monsters do not heal sick fathers. Monsters do not help cook dinner. You are strange, yes, but you are also good. Vera was silent for a moment. I was not always good. I have done terrible things I cannot undo. The past is the past. What matters is who you are now, and now you are my son's friend. That makes you family. Family. The word hit Vera like a physical blow. She had not had family in centuries. Her parents were dead. She had no siblings. The closest thing she had were her generals, and they were more servants than friends. But here, in this small house, eating simple food with ordinary humans, she felt something she had forgotten existed. Belonging. Weeks passed. Vera's visits became longer. She started bringing gifts, strange crystals from distant planets, fruits that glowed in the dark, a small device that could translate any language. The family treasured these gifts, but they treasured her company more. Taiho and Vera continued their late-night conversations at the store. They talked about everything: philosophy, history, the nature of power and kindness. Taiho introduced her to Korean dramas, and Vera became obsessed with them. Why are these humans so dramatic? She asked while watching a show about a CEO falling in love with a poor girl. In my culture, we would simply declare our intentions and be done with it. That is not romantic, Taiho said. The drama is the point. The misunderstandings, the longing, the slow development of love. It seems inefficient. Love is not about efficiency. Vera thought about this. I suppose I would not know. I have never loved anyone. Not really. Taiho looked at her with soft eyes. Maybe you just have not found the right person, or the right species. Vera laughed. But there was something in her laugh that was different now. Something warmer. Meanwhile, on the ship above Earth, the generals grew more restless. It has been 2 moon cycles, Borak complained. The Empress spends all her time on the planet. She ignores our reports. She dismisses our suggestions. Something is very wrong. Perhaps she is enchanted, Kira suggested. The humans might have some kind of mental weapon we do not know about. Impossible. We scanned for such things. Humans have no advanced technology. Dorvan, the oldest general, was quiet. He was thinking deeply. I have served the Empress for 300 years, he said finally. I have seen her conquer worlds without mercy. I have seen her destroy entire civilizations for small offenses, but I have also seen the sadness in her eyes, the loneliness, the weight of her crown. What are you saying? Borak demanded. I am saying that perhaps the Empress has found something on this planet. Something that has nothing to do with war or conquest. Something personal. The other generals did not understand. They were warriors. They knew only battle and victory. But Dorvan understood. He was old enough to remember a different Vera. A young empress who smiled easily and believed in kindness. Before the betrayal, before she hardened her heart. Give her time, Dorvan said. Whatever is happening, it might be good for her. Good for her, Borak growled. We are the draconian sovereignty. We do not wait. We do not hesitate. If the Empress has become weak, perhaps we need a new Empress. Silence fell over the room. Borak's words were treason. To suggest replacing the Empress was punishable by death. Kira slowly moved her hand to her weapon. Dorvan's eyes turned cold. Be careful, Borak, Dorvan said quietly. Very careful. Borak looked at his fellow generals. He saw that he had gone too far. I speak only out of concern for the Empire, he said quickly. I meant no disrespect. See that you do not, Dorvan replied. The Empress has her reasons. We will trust in her wisdom. Is that understood? Yes, General. But when Borak left the room, there was a dark look in his eyes, a look of ambition and impatience, a look that promised trouble. Back on Earth, Vera was unaware of the tension on her ship. She was sitting in the convenience store eating instant ramyun and watching a drama on Taiho's phone. The male lead is an idiot, she declared. He should simply tell her how he feels. But then the show would end too quickly, Taiho said. Exactly. It would be better that way. Taiho smiled. He had grown used to her complaints about human entertainment. He had also grown used to her presence. More than that, he had grown to need it. The nights when she did not visit felt empty. Vera, he said suddenly. Yes? What happens next? With the invasion? With us? What is the plan? Vera set down her chopsticks. Her golden eyes looked at him with an emotion he could not name. I do not know, she admitted. My generals are impatient. My empire expects conquest. But every time I think about destroying this planet, I think about your family, your mother's cooking, your father's stories, your kindness. And I cannot do it. I cannot destroy the world that created you. Taiho felt his heart beat faster. What are you saying? Vera reached across the table. She took his hand in her clawed grip, gentle, careful. I am saying that you have changed me, Taiho, in ways I do not fully understand. I came to this planet as a conqueror, but now, she smiled that gentle smile that looked so beautiful on her dragon face. Now I think I came here to find something I lost long ago. My heart. Outside. The stars shone brightly in the night sky. Among them, hidden from human eyes, the draconian fleet waited. And in the shadows of power, General Borak began to make his own plans. The storm was coming. But for now, in the warm light of a small convenience store, a human and a dragon held hands and pretended the future did not matter. General Borak moved quickly. He sent secret messages to captains who shared his frustration. He made promises of power and glory. Within a week, he had gathered enough support for his plan. The mutiny happened at midnight. Borak and his followers entered the command room with weapons drawn. General Dorvan and General Kira were there, reviewing patrol reports. What is the meaning of this? Dorvan demanded. The Empress has failed us, Borak declared. She has been corrupted by these primitive humans. She delays our conquest for no reason. The sovereignty grows weak while she plays on that dirt planet. This is treason, Kira said, reaching for her weapon. This is survival. Borak nodded to his soldiers. They surrounded Dorvan and Kira before they could fight back. "Take them to the cells. They will witness the conquest of Earth, and then they will answer for their loyalty to a weak empress." Dorvan did not struggle. He was too old for fighting. But his eyes burned with anger. "Vera will destroy you for this," he said. "Vera will have no power when I am finished. By morning, Earth will be burning, and I will be the new emperor." On Earth, Vera felt something wrong. She was in Tejo's home, enjoying dinner with his family, when a cold feeling spread through her chest. "What is it?" Tejo asked, noticing her expression. "Something is happening on my ship. Something bad." Before she could say more, her communication device activated. A holographic image appeared above the table. It was Borak's face. "Greetings, former Empress," Borak said. His voice was filled with satisfaction. "I am calling to inform you that you have been removed from power. The draconian sovereignty no longer recognizes your authority." Vera stood up slowly. Her golden eyes turned cold. "Borak, you dare to betray me? You betrayed yourself. You betrayed our entire species, falling for these pathetic humans, delaying conquest for friendship and feelings." He laughed. "The great Empress, defeated by a store clerk. Where are Dorvan and Kira? In cells, where traitors belong. But do not worry about them. Worry about yourself. In 1 hour, our fleet will begin the destruction of Earth. Every city will burn. Every human will die. And you will watch it happen, powerless to stop it." Tejo's family had stopped eating. They stared at the hologram with terror in their eyes. Yunji grabbed her husband's hand. "You cannot do this," Vera said. "The fleet follows me. They are loyal to me." They were loyal, but I have shown them the truth. I have shown them their empress caring more about aliens than her own people. Half the fleet already supports me. The rest will follow when they see victory. Vera's claws extended. Her body began to glow with ancient power. "If you touch this planet, I will end you." Threats from a fallen queen. How sad. Borak smiled coldly. "Enjoy your last hour with your precious humans, Vera. Make it memorable." The hologram disappeared. Silence filled the room. Then Yunji began to cry quietly. Dongsu held her close. Tejo stood up. His face was pale but determined. "What do we do?" he asked. Vera closed her eyes. She thought about her options. She could return to the ship and fight Borak directly, but she would be outnumbered. Even with her power, she could not defeat half the fleet alone. She could flee with Tejo's family, find a place to hide while Earth burned. But then billions would die. Innocent people, families like Tejo's, people who laughed and loved and dreamed. She could not let that happen. "I have to go back," Vera said. "I have to stop him." "You said you would be outnumbered," Tejo said. "Yes, then you might die." Vera looked at him, at this simple human who had changed her entire existence. "Yes, I might die. But if I do nothing, your world dies. Everyone you love dies." She touched his face with her clawed hand. "I have lived for 1,000 years, Tejo. Most of those years were empty, cold, meaningless. But these past weeks with you, they were worth more than all the centuries before." Tears fell from Tejo's eyes. "Do not talk like you are saying goodbye." "I am not saying goodbye. I am saying thank you for reminding me what it means to care, for showing me that kindness is not weakness, for treating a monster like a friend." "You are not a monster." Vera smiled. "I know. You taught me that." She turned to Tejo's parents and bowed deeply. "Thank you for accepting me into your home. Thank you for treating me like family. Whatever happens tonight, know that I will protect your son and your world with everything I have." Dongsu stood up slowly. He walked to Vera and took her clawed hand in both of his. "We will pray for you," he said. To whatever gods watch over dragons, come back to us safely." Vera nodded. She could not speak. Her heart was too full. She walked outside. Taiho followed her. "There must be another way," he said. "Something we can do to help." Vera looked up at the sky. Somewhere up there her fleet waited. Her enemy waited. "There is one thing," she said slowly. "When I face Borak, I will broadcast our confrontation to the entire fleet. I will show them what kind of leader he really is. I will show them what I have learned on this planet." "And what have you learned?" Vera turned to him. The moonlight made her scales shimmer like stars. "That the strongest empires are not built on fear. They are built on love, on kindness, on the simple act of treating others with dignity." She smiled. "A store clerk taught me that." She activated her shuttle's signal. In moments, a small craft descended from the clouds. It landed silently in the empty street. Vera walked toward it. Then she stopped and looked back at Taiho. "If I survive this, I will come back, and when I do, I want to learn more about humans, about your world, about you." "I will be waiting," Taiho said, "at the store, with tea and chips." Vera laughed. Then she did something unexpected. She walked back to Taiho and embraced him, her large form wrapped around him carefully, as if he was something precious. "Thank you," she whispered, "for everything." Then she was gone, flying into the night sky toward her destiny. On the ship, Borak was preparing his victory speech when the alarm sounded. "The Empress's shuttle is approaching," a soldier reported. "She is alone." Borak laughed. "Let her come. What can one dragon do against half a fleet?" But as Vera's shuttle docked and she stepped into the ship, something felt different. She walked through the corridors with calm confidence. Soldiers who blocked her path looked into her golden eyes and stepped aside, not from fear, from something else. She entered the command room. Borak stood there with 100 loyal soldiers. "You should have run," Borak said. "Now you will die with the humans." "No one is dying tonight," Vera said. Her voice was broadcast to every ship in the fleet. "This transmission is reaching everyone, every soldier, every captain, every crew member. Listen carefully." She walked forward slowly. Borak's soldiers raised their weapons. "Borak tells you, I have become weak. He tells you I have been corrupted by humans. He is right about one thing. I have changed, but not because I am weak, because I have become stronger." She stopped in the center of the room. Her eyes swept across the soldiers. "For 1,000 years, I ruled through fear. I conquered worlds because I could. I destroyed civilizations because it was expected. And what did we gain? More territory, more power, more enemies who would destroy us if they could." She turned to face Borak directly. "But on that small planet, a human showed me another way. He treated me with kindness, not because he feared me, but because kindness was who he was. He offered tea to a conqueror. He gave blankets to a destroyer. He saw past my scales and claws and saw a person." Her voice grew stronger. "That is the strength humans have. Not weapons, not technology, but the ability to see others as worthy of respect, to build connections instead of walls, to choose love over hate." She raised her hand. Ancient power gathered around her fingers. "I could kill Borak right now. I could destroy everyone in this room who stands against me. That is what the old Vera would do. But the new Vera knows better. The new Vera offers a choice." She looked at the soldiers. "Stand down, not because you fear me, but because you want something better. A future where we do not need to conquer, where we can build alliances instead of empires, where we can learn from species like humans instead of destroying them." For a moment, nothing happened. Then one soldier lowered his weapon, then another, then 10 more. Borak looked around in fury. "What are you doing? Kill her!" But the soldiers did not move. They looked at Vera with something new in their eyes. Hope. Dorvan's voice came through the speakers. Someone had freed him. The fleet stands with the Empress. Borak, you are under arrest for treason. Borak drew his weapon and charged at Vera. She did not move. She did not fight. She simply stood there as Dorvan's guards appeared and tackled Borak to the ground. It was over. Later, Vera made an official announcement. Earth would not be conquered. It would be protected. The draconian sovereignty would become Earth's guardians, not its destroyers. Across the galaxy, other empires heard the news. They did not understand. Why would the fearsome Dragon Queen protect a primitive planet? But Vera knew, and Taiho knew, and that was enough. 1 week later, Vera returned to the convenience store. It was late at night, as always. Taiho was behind the counter reading a comic book. He looked up when the door opened. A smile spread across his face. "Welcome back," he said. "The honey ginger tea is on the 3rd shelf." Vera walked in. She was not wearing her armor or her dark coat. She was just herself, a dragon who had learned to be more than a conqueror. "I told you I would return," she said. "I never doubted it." They sat together in the small store, drinking tea and eating chips, talking about everything and nothing. Outside, the stars shone brightly. Among them, invisible to human eyes, a fleet of dragon ships watched over Earth with silent dedication. A new chapter had begun, for Vera, for Taiho, for humanity. All because one tired store clerk decided to treat a monster like a normal customer. And sometimes that is all it takes to change the universe.